So I told my friend to tell Thelma that I was going to San Francisco and for her to go back to Oklahoma. Well, it took 3 or 4 days on a troop train to get to San Francisco, and I had never been that far west. Well, we arrived in San Francisco and unloaded in Treasure Island. They had changed over all the buildings there in Treasure Island to take care of the military. I didn't have any assignment. I was a one-man draft. But I reported in, and they gave me a bunk, and came around checking a few days later and said, well, we don't have any assignment for you, but you're going to be a shore patrol. So I worked shore patrol with the regular shore patrols. My rate was a motor machinist mate, and I was out there helping close the bars and take the drunk sailors into paddy wagons and take them back to their base. Didn't care much for that, but it rained a lot that year there, and was out in the rain a lot. I had written Thelma a letter and told her where I was, and so she and her brother Harold, they got on a train and came to Tracy, where her brother Jack lived. But I didn't know it, so I hadn't received any note from her yet. So first liberty I got, I decided I'd go over to Tracy and see Jack, 'cause it wasn't very far. So I caught an A train out as far as it went, out east Oakland, and hitchhiked to Tracy. I found their place and looked up and rang the doorbell, and Thelma answered the door. Now that was a surprise, but a good one. So I had to be back at base the next morning by 8 o'clock, and so then one day we had to check the board that was out on the drill field. Our name was on an outgoing draft or an assignment, so I checked it, and my name was on it. So I had no idea where I'd be going. So they had said to have a sea bag packed and out on the drill field at 0800. And I was out there, several more sailors. Nobody knew where we were going. So the station wagon came out and a bus. And actually it was a dump truck and a bus. And the lieutenant stepped out with a handful of papers, and he started calling off names. He said, when they call your name, put your gear on the truck and get on the bus. So he read off all the names and said, that's it. And I was sitting there by myself. And so I thought maybe he called my name. I didn't hear it or something, so I went over and asked him. I said, sir, I didn't hear my name. And he said, what is it? And I told him. He turned a page in his handful of papers he had and said, well, Corley, you're going over to Camp Shoemaker. Did you just stand by here? There'll be a station wagon. Their transportation pick you up, take you over there. So I sat down on my sea bag out there on that drill field by myself and waited and waited and waited. About 2 o'clock, station wagon pulled up. I got out and he said, are you William Corley? I said, yes, I am. He said, well, throw your sea bag in here and get in. We're going for a ride. So I didn't ask no questions. And we ended up at Camp Shoemaker. Was over, there was this building in it. It was over by Pleasanton. Now it's Dublin, right in that area. There was a CB barracks on one side of the fence, and the regular Navy, called Camp Shoemaker, was on the other. So they took us over there, and there was about 100 of us altogether. That they told us, you're going to be here in the CB barracks, just stay out of their way, and they'll put you to work. And they gave us a Liberty Pass that we could go anytime we wanted to, except we had to be there every morning at 8 o'clock. So that was real neat. I could go into Tracy every day and be with Thelma. She was 6 months pregnant with Monty. So then when they opened the Camp Shoemaker, then I got assigned to the base as if it was my ship. I was called Ship's Company. And I was assigned to the black gang, they called us. Went around and took care of the furnaces and the galley stoves and all of that, and had our own barracks. And I had a commanding officer. His name was Hogan. He had been in the Navy, making a career out of it. I was talking one day, and he came by a boiler where I was standing watch, and he asked me about what I was doing with a motor machinist mate, raiding and working in the black gang. I said, well, they seemed kind of lost me, didn't know where to put me, so this is where they stuck me. And he said, well, would you rather be in transportation? I said, yeah, I would. He said, well, we'll go down to the administrative office and we'll see what you can do. We can do. So he took me down there, talked to the commanding officer, the administrator. They changed me over to the transportation department and moved me into another barracks and had to make new friends and all, but it was a lot better because I was off the base most of the time, hauling supplies or taking sailors to put them aboard ship, and had it pretty good, and had every other weekend free. And so I told Lieutenant Hogan that we were expecting our first baby. He said, well, when you get ready and you need to be at home with some help, let me know and I'll get you some time off.